And welcome into the Oklahomans video studio. I'm Dave Morris here. Happy to be alongside Steve Cook, coach of the Energy FC, for our weekly update. Great to see you again, as always.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Well, we'll recap the two matches that were last week, a draw and a loss, and we'll look ahead to a brutal stretch coming up in August. I know you're not a huge fan of sometimes the way the schedule shakes out, but that's the way it is, right? It
is the way it is, and you know, at the beginning of the season, you get the fixtures come out, and you always look at them and you try and plan a little bit, but most of it is short-term planning at that time. But anytime you get a spell like we're having, where it's game after game after game, I personally like to do a lot more training. I like to work a little bit more with the players and get hands-on the training ground. But it is what it is, and we move forward, and we do our very best.
And that's why they play the games, right?
Exactly why you play the games.
Get out there on the field and see what happens.
Yeah, and I think for a player, from a player's perspective, you enjoy it a lot more. You know, they'd probably rather playing than training as well.
Sure.
And from a coach's standpoint, sometimes I get a little bit antsy.
Yeah, you'd rather see a little bit of adjustment. Hey, let's tweak this with this instead of just game after game.
Of course.
Well, let's take a look back at last week's results, and we'll start with that draw that you had on July 25th against Fresno.
Yeah, it was Fresno are a good team, and they came, I think, with a mindset of making sure they didn't lose the game, and I think it was one of those games where we felt we had the upper hand, but both teams kind of controlled it fairly well. There wasn't a lot in the game. I don't think for the neutral it would have been the most exciting game, but certainly I think we felt we had one or two reasonable opportunities, but I think in the end the draw was a fair result, and credit to Fresno, they came in town to make life very difficult for us, which they did, and we couldn't quite carve out that one quality opening to win the game, but you know, we live and learn and we move forwards.
You say they were playing to not lose the game. Is that frustrating when you run into a team like that, when you know they're just playing back?
Yeah, it is, and especially, you know, we want to play a quite fluid attacking style of play. We want to open up and really make the game a little bit more exciting, but on a field that's only 62 yards wide and very tight to begin with, and not necessarily the greatest surface, sometimes it can be a little bit easier just to sit in and pack it in and make sure you don't get beaten. So it can get a little bit frustrating, but you know, we are where we are and we make the best of it, and we have to do a little bit better job, I think, of breaking teams down.
So that was Wednesday of last week. On Saturday night, San Antonio, a team that you had draws with, what, 5 straight coming into that match?
Yeah.
And another close game.
Yeah, I thought in terms of with the ball attacking, I felt that we played some of our best stuff all season, and we really did create some great opportunities, and this was more of a game, I think, for the neutral would have been an exciting game to watch, and a really fast-paced end-to-end game. We felt we created 4 or 5 wonderful opportunities, and you know, scoring goals is the hardest part of the game, and you know, you feel bad for strikers when they do miss those chances. Their job is to not get so frustrated and make sure they take advantage of that one moment. We created 3 or 4 great chances and couldn't obviously put a second or a third one in. If we'd have done that, I'm sure we would have gone on to win the game comfortably, but unfortunately a couple of defensive lapses as well cost us dearly on the night.
It's a tight game. You take the lead, and then late it kind of gets away.
Yeah, sloppy restarts really from our standpoint. You know, we had a free kick close to their goal and a great delivery from Philip Rasmussen, but they managed to clear it out, and then we had a bit of a lapse and gave a penalty kick away, which is always going to be frustrating. And then the second goal was a free kick to them. We had a couple of players who wanted to chase the referee a little bit, probably too long for me, and lost focus on what the job was, and the resulting free kick went in. So we've got to be a little bit more intelligent, I think, with how we approach the moments of the game that are key moments and can change the outcome of games. And I felt that there were a couple of times there we lost our focus. And that being said, it was a great performance in general, but obviously it's those key moments that win the games.
Chatting with Steve Cook, head coach, the Energy FC, and you mentioned following that game Saturday night, you know, it is what it is. We dropped a tough one here. We move on. I'll be interested to see how the team is Monday at practice.
Yeah.
How's the team Monday at practice?
Well, they've been terrific, and I don't ever really doubt that, because they're a great group of people. They've got great character. They work extremely hard for each other. So I never really doubt whether or not they're going to come in and do their work. But it was really about being focused and about really making certain that we learn the lessons from the past week. It's difficult when you don't get a lot of training in, so for me this week is great because we get to do some good work with the players. And again, I think good moments for them to learn and good moments for them to improve them. We don't look back too much. We try to learn from it, but really it's about forward looking, and the next game for us is Colorado Springs, so we have to look very much forward to that game and be positive in our outlook and make certain that we put in a good performance.
So Colorado Springs comes up next on August 4th. Then the following week you have 2 more matches there. Again, to your point at the top of this segment, 3 matches, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, it's again, it makes it exciting. It makes it something that you're always looking, excitedly towards a couple of days from now. But we go to Colorado Springs, and we're a good team in a reasonable spot, just above us in the league. I think it's one of those games that, having played them twice already this season, we know what they're about, and they'll know us pretty well as well. I think it's one of those where if we go and really set about the task of attacking them in the right way and making certain that we're a little bit more organised and disciplined defensively, I think we can get a good result in Colorado and really get ourselves moving forwards again.
You mentioned you matched up a couple times already, but you have a couple new weapons. We mentioned Adam John last time on loan from Columbus of the MLS. You also have signed Monty Patterson.
Yeah, Monty's a young player. He's only 21. And for his age, he's got quite a little bit of experience. I think he's played 15 times for the New Zealand men's national team, and scored, I think, against the USA about a year or so ago in a friendly game, and then went and played in the Confederations Cup in Russia last summer. So he's got some good experience playing against the likes of the USA and Mexico and Russia, and legitimately played against some really, really top players and with some top players as well. So Monty brings in a real positive energy to the group. He's a very quick-paced attacking player. He's one who likes to go forwards and attack with pace and momentum, and I think he's again another great addition to the group, not only because of his talents on the field, but because he's a good human being off it as well, and hopefully he will not only put in some good performances for us, but he'll also be a big addition to the group away from the game as well.
You can follow the team at Energy FC online at energyfc.com. You can also check out the schedule there. And Coach, my last question to you, looking at that schedule in August, 8 matches coming up, only 2 at Taft Stadium.
Yeah, which we're okay with. We know that in our sport you play 17 home and 17 away, and they're going to come at some point during the season. So if you're going to get to where you want to go to, you've got to win games away and you've got to win games at home. For me, I think getting to play on some grass and on some stadiums where it's a little bit bigger and a little bit more space for us, I think might help us. But the mindset has to be one of resilience and one of organisation, and being really, really tough to beat as well. And I think on the road, we've done very, very well of late, so I expect nothing but good things from the players. Again, they're very motivated, they're very hard working, they're very together with everything they're doing. So I don't think we need to fear anybody. I think we need to go at every game with a lot of positive energy, and that should be enough to get us some results.
Steve Cook, ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Energy FC. They will be in action again this Saturday at Colorado Springs, next Wednesday at Tulsa, and then back home at Taft Stadium, August 11th, Real Monarchs SLC. And again, you can find that schedule, ticket information, other event information online at energyfc.com. Coach, as always, best of luck. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.